after I get this thing cleaned up and done. Alright, so I got some of these little ground nuts, but evidently they're made for quite a large number of ground wires, and if you just put a ground through it, they don't tighten up real good. So what I'm doing is folding it over and clamping it down real tight, where this nut will think it's got at least 3 wires in it instead of 2. But it bites down hard on 3 wires, but 2 is really not enough. Okay. All my bands for my receptacle. So we'll start with the black, the hots on the gold. And this just to get it on there quick. Don't ever trust that. I always go back with a screwdriver and double check to make sure they're really, really tight. Alright, we got an extra about a quarter of a turn out of most of them. About the same there. And then these wires are so stiff. Trying to get this back in the wall. I always take my pliers and just bend them, and then come up here a little higher and bend them the second time, and then try to bend these down the third, so it's sort of, when you put it back in there, it smashes sort of like an accordion, folds up. And then always make sure you can push it in before you try to screw it. Make sure there's nothing touching or shorting on the sides. And I always get these unbreakable cover plates, the regular ones. You put them on just barely tight and they're screwed too tight, like that, they crack. And what's weird, these are only like 90 cents. And the ones that break real easy are almost a couple bucks. So that's the ones I like. Because if it can be broke, I'm gonna break it. Show you a little bit. We gotta go get some more wire. I need some 14-2 to run off of these lights. Gonna be in the upper part. Same thing on this one. We need the 14-2 because it's lights, and all of the lights, this will be the one over the vanity. I don't know if you can see it because of the sun, but everything we're running will be LED, so they draw very small current. And then we got these wired all the way down, and then 14-2 hanging for the light. This is going to be in the pantry. And then same thing, we got a double flood that goes out back that'll be wired up top over the door. And then we've got all these 12-2 runs all the way down these receptacles on the outside wall of the pole barn. But so we've got most of the 120 stuff in here done and got it finished and got the wires tied up, but we still got just a little bit more to do, but we got to get some wire. And once we get that wire, we'll finish up. And then something that I did here, I anchored all my wires down on horizontal girts I added going to the breaker box and on my runs. But I did not want to drill through the main pole barn post because I didn't want to do anything to make them weaker. So you can see back behind them, they go around the back side. There's plenty of space in between there. And if it's required, we're going to get an inspection. We don't have any codes or permits that we have to pull to do this in this area. But if you want to resell later, you do have to have an inspection, and we will have it all inspected, but we actually can mount a wide L plate in here and put a metal plate there if they require that. But this is also going to be shot and filled with spray foam. I know, so I don't think it's going to be a big deal. And of course also some insurance. If you don't have the electrical inspected, you know, they may not insure you, but so anyway, this is just a look of the living quarters that we're building out. The other was our solar shed slash garage. And this is going to be the living room kitchen combo that we're building. This little section here is going to be the pantry on this side. And then this room here, which is pretty good size, is going to end up being where we have the washer and dryer on this side. And then the tub, bathroom, vanity, and all that stuff on this side. And then back this area, this is the bedroom. It's not huge, but it's not small. It's 16 by 16. And then we'll have this walk-in closet. And hopefully this is what we'll get finished and be living in until we are able to actually build the house onto the back of the garage slash solar shed. But that's going to take us a lot longer, so we're trying to build this out so we've got living space up here. Okay, we didn't film any of this yet, but we've started putting up our floor joist rafters. We put the sledger board up. Of course, the sun's bright, so I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Okay, maybe. But you can see we put these metal hooks at the bottom, these strapping for the joist. But these things are lagged in on the outside of the ledger, coming back into the board with 1 foot lag bolts. So they ain't going anywhere. There's just a little extra securance under that bottom edge to hold it in place. But it took both of us trying to even start to get these things up there. So we didn't have the camera running. This other end is not fastened. We finished a lot of our 120 wiring, and so we got this kitchen light that's going over the island. just stuck up on the wall and wired in just to make sure it works. And then we got this one that's going in the bathroom. So I guess you say cart before the horse, but anyway, that's just what we're doing. And so while I was putting them on, she decided that she was going to come out here. Well, I can't see her, but maybe she'll come by in a minute. I don't know what she's doing. But this is her new favorite pastime. Once we picked up this old used Kubota hydrostatic lawnmower, all of a sudden she likes mowing the grass because she don't have to mess with the gears. But anyway, we will film some more of getting these rafters, floor joist rafters. It's going to be both because they're going to be upstairs just mainly for storage. But we actually will film some of that. But we had to make sure we knew what we were doing and we could get some up there first before we try to mess with the camera and doing that too. But anyway, that's what we're doing. We see quite a few up here, but they're real skittish. This one's a long way away. I'm zoomed in on zoom to get this little part. But if you get close to them, they're gone.
We're putting on an extra girt here and then screwing it down, and then the ledger board will set up against that to put our
lag bolted to it.
All right, lag bolted to it, excuse me.
And show them what we already did. Just tell them we didn't film that first part because in case we die.
Like the reason why we didn't film this part is because, I don't know, he thinks we might die or something.
We were trying to figure out what we were doing.
We were trying to figure out what we were doing. And we're putting blocks in here. We'll have to do this up here too.
Blocks, what'd that other guy call them?
I don't know.
Noggins?
Noggins or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Tell them a quote. Tell them a comment if they ever heard them called noggins.
Have you ever heard them called noggins, he said? Or something like that. I don't remember.
That's what he said, noggins.
So we're going
We're going to get on.
we're going to put those in here because the boards are so warped.
We're going to get on with our noggins.
Okay then. So we're going to get the other measurement from here to here so we can get the extra girt on.
116 and 3/8.
116 and 3/8.
115 and 3/8.
115?
115.
Oh, I thought it was 116.
115.
115.
And 3/8.
115 and 3/8.
Right there.
Right there. Right there.
See how square that cut is. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It'll pass.
Now, if I was cutting it, it'd be lopsided. And I do mean lopsided. So what are we doing here? Besides making noise.
We're building the second part of our ledger board to hold our floor/ceiling trusses. Or not trusses, but rafters.
So, how far apart are they?
How far apart? Who?
Each one of the little hangers.
16.
Okay.
Well, they're supposed to be 16. So
you're saying it ain't 16?
they don't really have, per se, a center mark on them. So you just sort of eyeball and hope you're close. But theoretically, yeah, they're supposed to be 16 on the center. Say, well, those are made for 2x4s, and they are. And they're sprung open when you get them, so you got to bend them in where it fits good. But when we put our joist up here, we're putting 3 lag bolts from the back side into these. They're about 6 inches long, and about 3 nails, plus this hanger that they're setting in. And I don't think they're going anywhere. I ain't worried about it. But the reason, the hangers that they had, at least at the store we went to that were for the 10-inch, they're like $15 a piece, and these were like $1. And with the lag bolts and the nails, I could just run a small ledger on the face of this and wouldn't have needed anything.
But then people,
What?
and then people are going to say, well, why'd you spend the money on lag bolts?
I didn't, I already had a box.
Okay.
From where we did the roof rafters on the building up there.
Well, I'm not going to film all this because it's just repetitive.
That's fine, but you know, people build decks all the time. They're not supposed to do it, but they do it. Even in places that you have code, and you walk up under the deck and they got all these floor joists in there and they're just nailed, 16 penny nails, and they hold up. But like I said, these will have 3 lag bolts in the end of each thing coming here, pulls it into the board. Then they have 4 nail shot plus the hangers. So they're not going anywhere.